Hey Anti-Society, welcome back to the Antisocial Planet, and today we're watching episodes 166 and 167 of Bleach. So I am so excited for these episodes. Obviously, we're getting to the end of I guess the first half of the Arrancar arc, which was really about how do we beat up Ichigo and his friends the most to prove that they are not qualified to fight any of these Arrancar or Espada, which is stressing me out a lot. But it also it hypes up what's going to happen in the next half because we're going to be jumping over some episodes with the filler arc that's going to be coming and coming back to the second half of the Arrancar arc, which I can only assume is going to be very hype and stressful for me. So I'm so excited for this. We are finally going to see Grimmjow's released form and see him really fight in a way that I haven't seen yet, because the last couple of times he fought Ichigo, he didn't use his release form, he barely used his Zanpakuto, he obviously was just kind of playing around with the fight, and this time we saw in the preview for the last episode that we are going to get to see Grimmjow go full on Espada released form, and I'm so excited. We also have the little, issue of Ukeota being transported because Grimmjow was like, how do we get rid of him? So he's gonna be gone for maybe a couple of hours before he finds his way back. So I feel like that's gonna be something he's upset about. I think if Grimmjow makes it through this fight with Ichigo, which I assume that he will, because Ichigo's not the kind of person to just kill off his enemies. I feel like Grimmjow making it through this fight, Ukeora's gonna have some things to say to him about what exactly went on. Not that Ukeora seems to lose his temper in that kind of way, but in the I can't have people inconveniencing me kind of way, and he is a higher rank. So I assume that there is some kind of hierarchy with the ranks in terms of respect and taking orders, kind of being a subordinate in a little bit of a way. And there's also just a lot of competition between the Espada in general, so I assume that there's going to be some kind of interaction between Grimmjow and Ukeora once he makes his way back to Las Noches. So we have that going on. We have Renji and Ishida, who definitely did not win their fight with the Espada they were fighting with pink-haired scientist. And he is left to go and change his clothes, and they are deciding to get out of there if they can, because you gotta know which fights you can win and which ones are better to just let be for a little while. So I don't think we'll be dealing with that right away. I feel like we pick back up with in the later arc. Still don't know what's going on with Rukia and Sado, who are just kind of I don't know, bleeding out somewhere. I don't know. So there's that too. We got Nell and Orihime kind of on the sidelines of the whole Ichigo Grimmjow fight. There's a lot, guys. I don't even know how this is gonna end, because I'm not even sure it will end in a proper way. I feel like maybe we'll just it'll stop and then there'll be filler arc and then we'll pick back up again. So let's just get into episode 166 and see this cool fight with Ichigo versus Grimmjow, because I'm so excited for it. In 3, 2, 1, go. I'm so excited. Hang on. We're just gonna get Totoro. Totoro is supporting me for this one. I'm so excited though. I feel like seeing released forms of certain of the Espada, or like I guess Arrancar in general, but like the Espada specifically, is a lot like how I felt when we discovered Bankai. And I was like, oh, I want to see all of the Bankai. I want everyone to have one so I can see all of the cool abilities and stuff. There's a bunch of the Espada that we just haven't met yet. Like we've met, but we haven't like interacted with in terms of like Ichigo and his friends. So I'm like, I feel like that's gonna what the next half of the arc's gonna be more about is some of the more powerful characters. It's gonna be the last couple of episodes where I get to hear this opening. I'm gonna miss Asian Kung Fu Generation. Okay, let's do this. We're starting with the strings right away. That makes me a little bit nervous. We start with like the Espada themes, with the Arrancar themes. We've been dealing with like basically just Espada for a while that I keep forgetting that there's like other Arrancar besides like Nell and her family. I love the OST though. Just getting distracted by the music. Yes. Yeah. We talked about that before. I'm like, Ichigo fights best if there's like something external to help him. Like, not that he can't fight well on his own, but I feel like he's a little bit uh he's like less committed to the fight, I find, when it's just him, which like I get to some extent, like he just enjoys fighting because I don't think he would want to be a soul reaper if he didn't. But he just I feel like he fights so much better and like to like a better quality when he has external things motivating him. That face from Grimmjow though freaks me out a little bit. Is this her first time seeing him in hollow form? I can't remember if she because he was practicing with the visored when and she like showed up, but I don't think he was in hollow form when she saw him. Or she was like briefly maybe when he was training, but not the same feeling, I guess. I mean, the fact that he's worried about her shows that like he's in control at this moment of like between him and the Hollow. Because if he wasn't, the Hollow would not be concerned about Otohime's feelings. Ooh, the music picked up. Oh, I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this. Yeah, things are about to get serious. Oh, the electric guitars are coming in. I'm so excited. Show me Grimmjow. Let's go. The real fight I've been waiting for. Ooh, just had to hit all the pillars, right? Come on, Ichigo. Oh, dang. Oh, he's got ears. I mean, like, animal ears. I was gonna say, is he gonna pop up behind him because we had that, like, over the shoulder shot? I don't know. I think his eyes look kind of cool. I don't think Grimmjow's paying attention to that. Isn't one of them one of the Espada? Like the one in the back, the blonde one? I think I remember seeing them at the table. Assume the other like subordinates of some kind. That one. Hmm. He's partly human. Interesting that people keep pointing out that Ichigo's very similar to Espada, and I don't know if that's like just because he is like half hollow, half human, or Soul Reaper, like the Arrancar are, or if there's something else to that. Ooh, come on, boy. Oh, come on. I love the fighting style that Grimmjow using too. That he's not using a weapon. It's just like his own body and like the way he's able to use his own strength. Is he not there? Ooh, no. He's just ready. Ooh. The, the feeling of seeing that is almost like you like nails on a chalkboard kind of thing. Like, ugh. You can just like feel the like those two surfaces like coming into contact and it freaks me out a little. He seems to be keeping his hollow form for a while though. I don't know if that's like oof, anime battle physics where like time just warps because a battle is happening, but it's really been seconds. But either way, it seems to be holding up a lot longer than we've seen him so far, which proud of him for that. It's complicated. He's got a lot of layers, you know, there's a lot going on with Ichigo. And I'm only like halfway through the series, so I'm assuming there's more that I don't even know about yet. Oof. Oh, that was a cool shot. Oh, and all the flips and stuff. Oh, I like Grimmjow's fighting style. I don't want to, but I don't want to like Grimmjow, but between character design and his fighting style, I do. I like him more than I want to. Uh-oh. Is it? Oh, she's having flashbacks to her brother. That's true. There'd be a whole other layer of damage, like trauma to that of like she's already gone through this of like so much she cares about being transformed between like human and hollow, right? With her brother. I didn't even consider that that would be something that would affect her with Ichigo specifically, but that totally makes sense though. Oh, so that's what hit him. Wow. Uh-oh, we're running out of time. Ooh. I feel like he's gonna put so much into this fight though, and it's just gonna like use up everything he has. Ooh, his mask is cracking too. I don't know. See, I talked about this last episode. I'm like, I feel like Grimmjow in the moment acts way more confident than he actually is. Like he's actually more critical in how he's thinking about the fight than it might seem. Like I think he's far more aware of what his limitations are that he lets on in the actual fight. That's gonna be an interesting storyline to come back to because Ichigo already has some issues with him being partly hollow. Like I don't feel like he's fully accepted it. It's just like a thing that he uses. Ah, yes, the first storyline that made me cry. There would be others. Uh-oh. They keep showing like I don't know if it's just a way of showing the battle dynamics, but they keep showing like parallels between Grimmjow and Ichigo. And I don't know if that's supposed to tell me about Grimmjow or about Ichigo. But I don't know if I like the sad violins coming out while we're talking about Ichigo and his power set. Sad violins usually means that something really bad's about to happen. Ooh, his mask is partly wrecked, isn't it? They might be a little more evenly matched than I thought. Like, I didn't know if Ichigo would be strong enough to even keep up, but they seem to be closer than I thought they would be in power. Cheerleader now. She's got a point. Stand here worrying about whether or not he's human or not, but he is fighting partly for you. We also had some debate about that last episode about what he's deciding to fight for, considering he didn't just like grab Orihime and leave, which I guess he probably could have tried, and he didn't. Ooh, that spin kick though. See, I feel like this is all leading up to what I was saying, where I'm like, Ichigo fights better, or like fights with more behind his like fighting style and his attacks when he has external motivators. It's kind of trippy to see him with like the changed eyes, but like the mask partly gone, because that makes me think of like I only see the white Ichigo, so it freaks me out a little bit. Well, don't distract him. Keep your eyes on the enemy. Because, yeah, don't take your eyes off your enemy. Ooh, now we're getting serious. Sorry, the confidence there. Ooh. No. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, I feel like something's gonna happen though. Like, because Ichigo is like pushing himself and pushing himself. One, to be able to like, I don't know, stand up in this fight, like to even have a chance against Grimmjow. But he's gonna like push himself even more. Like he's already kind of at even a little bit past what we've seen his like limit up to this point, and he's gonna like push himself again now because he like he's like I need to win this fight. I love the confidence. You guys know I love when Ichigo trash talks people in his fights. It's great. The confidence, the complete confidence, and like peace on his face was amazing. But I feel like because he's pushing himself even more, he's gonna he's gonna find something. Like he's gonna unlock, I don't know, more power, some new tactic. He's gonna find a new way to use the skills he already has. I don't know what it is, but I feel some kind of power up happening, like on the verge of happening, even if he doesn't fully understand how it works yet. Because last time we saw this, he became Hollow Ichigo, so. It's like through Zedeki's like hair. Aww. They tried. Okay, where do we even start? I think this really goes into like this fight really outlines a lot about Ichigo and like his motivation or like his reason for fighting. Because, like I was saying during the episode, a lot of the moments when Ichigo fights at his best, I find, is when he has external motivators. So, he kind of he definitely enjoys fighting to a certain extent, and that's something that Grimmjow brought up in the last episode of like, if his true motivation was to rescue Orihime, why didn't he just like take her and run the moment that he saw her? Like, why did he agree to fight with Grimmjow when he could have just, taken Orihime and left? So I think there definitely is a part of Ichigo that enjoys fighting for the sake of fighting, and we saw that a lot, throughout different fights and stuff, of him just sort of playing around and challenging himself. Like we saw that when he was fighting against Don Panini, who is like the only way I think of his name, uh, fighting against him, and he said, I'm not going to use my Bankai, I'm not going to go to my full power because I want to prove that I can beat one of these Arrancar without having to go full strength. And so he was kind of playing around with that idea, kind of seeing what he was capable of and not fully getting into it until he became very aware that Nell was there and that he had to protect her. Like he had to win in order for Nell and him to get away and, survive and move on. Like he had other things that were important to him besides just like proving something to himself. And he fought a lot better after that. Like he ended up using more of his power, but he also like just had more focus. And I think that that is something that's also transitioning here of like I was saying in my last video, fighting against Grimmjow and winning is Ichigo trying to prove something to himself. Like he's lost to him a couple of times before this, and he wants to prove that he can beat him for like the sake of like proving that he can, especially considering that previously his friends have gotten hurt as a result of him not being strong enough to fight Grimmjow. So I feel like he was very much kind of doing it for his own sake and for his own kind of peace of mind, or like, to prove something to himself. And so he was kind of playing around with it a little bit. And I think part of it was just him also like seeing what his power was like and kind of staying in his hollow form, but also like having to fight against Grimmjow in a new form too, which I don't want to love as much as I do, but I definitely love his design and his fighting style. Like his design is a lot sleeker than I've seen up to this point. Like it's not as bulky as a lot of the other released forms were. It's very like sleek to his body form, and that like really lends itself to his fighting style, which is very like aerobatic, kind of like it's very much based on like kicks and punches and like flips and stuff like that, like using the raw strength and speed of his body as opposed to relying on a weapon, which I love. I don't mind weapon-based fighting styles, but I do prefer things that are a little bit more hand to hand. It's just a preference of mine. I just think it's cool. Especially ones that incorporate kind of gymnastic style moves. For those of you who don't know, I actually was a gymnast for a few years. I was like really young. I don't make it seem like I was like some really cool like world-class gymnast. I was not. But I did do gymnastics for a number of years, and some of my favorite characters in fiction also have some background in that. Like I got my Harley Quinn back here. She was a gymnast. Nightwing was also like in the circus doing kind of aerobatic things. So I always loved those kinds of fighting styles and those kind of influences. So getting to see that fight style was really cool, even though I don't want to like Grimmjow. Maybe if he gets some like character growth soon, I'll like him more. I'm worried that I might actually really like him because he seems to be a favorite of a lot of people, and I don't want to like him. I feel like I'm like stubbornly not liking him, but getting to see that new form, and Ichigo was kind of trying to figure that out, navigate that a little bit too. But now being very aware of like refocusing his goal, and his goal is to protect his friends and to save Orihime specifically in this instance, but just in general of him like getting that focus back and realizing what he's really fighting for. And I feel like he fights at his best when he has that focus of like that external motivation. And I really do feel that since we're seeing him basically at his limit right now, but he is going to push himself further, that we're going to see that power up. Hopefully something as cool as what we saw with Sado with his Diablo side coming out, or cooler. I mean, I don't want someone to one up my Sado, but I'm willing to allow it if it's Ichigo. And I definitely loved the like confidence and the like almost like peaceful expression he had when he looked at Grimmjow and he was like, I'm not allowed to play around anymore. Like, I'm not allowed to keep losing to you. Just, I love when Ichigo is confident in a fight and trash talks and all that stuff. I love it. So, last episode in this half of the Arrancar arc before we skip ahead, let's get into episode 167. In 3, 2, 1, go. I'm so excited about this. End of the arc. End of the arc for right now. End of this half of the arc. I hope it ends on a win, because everybody's been losing. So I hope that even Ichigo has lost during this arc with the whole Ukeora incident. So I would love for this to end on some kind of win for our group. I don't really know what a win will look like, but gotta get Totoro though. Not sure where this is gonna go. I'm hoping for a win, but who knows? Maybe they'll just rip my heart out for the last episode before a long there would have been like a long break for the filler arc to air. And we're gonna have to say goodbye to Asian Kung Fu Generation for now. I think so. It must definitely be a new opener because the filler arc will, even if it had this for part of it, it'll probably switch partway through. So, okay, here we go. Mm-hmm. Boy, were there some powerful people waiting for them. Yes. Everybody's finally getting serious. Ugh, that part still like makes my body seize up. It's just nails on chalkboard feeling from that. Ugh, it is. Yeah, cheerleader now. Oop. Now with the wisdom. Nope. He definitely came to help you. And the rest of your friends. Oof. That kick still gets me. The like spin and then ugh. I feel like this is very similar to what I've said where I'm like, a win is surviving for me in a lot of these fights. I'm like, please survive this fight. Which is saying something considering he did not survive the last fight, technically. Oh, this look though. The confidence, how relaxed he looks. Ooh, like he's ready to just completely dominate this fight. I don't think so. Yep. I was like, not yet. I like the way they've switched the way that they show fights. Ooh, with the like faded effect. They blindsided me with gore. Okay, sure. I feel like this is important exposition. Okay. So they usually eat human souls, sometimes they eat hollows, and they become Gillians? Sure. Ooh. So they're Gillians that still have individuality. Oy. So that's how they become more powerful? Okay. Ooh. That's cool. So they keep eating hollows. Is this the backstory of Grimmjow? Because it has the blue eyes. I feel like that is not how this is gonna go. I feel like he's gonna end up holding his own. Oof, right for the face. Oof. Are these some of the other Espada before they became like Espada? It is Grimmjow. Yeah, because I don't know if they were Espada, but they were the Arrancar that were there before, because I was like, I recognize some of the names. Like DeRoy was one of them. One of the Arrancars that we saw before. It's crazy that hollows like get as strong as they are from like literally eating each other. Like that's it's literally an eat or be eaten world. Ugh. Everybody keeps trying to poke holes in him. Oof. Come on, Ichigo. You've decided to win this. Do something neat. Ooh, the way he's smiling though. Ugh. I need people to stop doing that though. Ooh, what are we doing? The sky got darker. Oh dear. He won't accept it though. He's gonna keep trying to get stronger. It kind of makes sense though that they would like once they become Arrancar that they followed Grimmjow to the living world then if there was like a connection even before that of them following him. He could have solved them lined up so that he could block it with the sword though. The spikes like shifted a little bit. How would he have blocked it? I'm waiting for something cool to happen with with Ichigo. I lost my train of thought. Oof. True. Oh, his eyes are back to normal though. One of them is. Makes me feel like he's losing his power then, which makes me nervous. He's turning back human. But now they're back. Is it a continuity thing? No, no, it's switched again. And then Aizen. The real king, really, if we're being honest. Grimmjow could call himself the king all he wants, but he still takes orders from Aizen. My boy! Still cool. Nope. Oof. And the sky turned back. Is that the last of his mask that fell too? Or was it just blood? Why is there a moon? It's a question I'd like to ask. Oh, he doesn't let him fall. Because Ichigo is a kind hearted person. He's gonna hate that you just like left him there though. Like that, that it's like that whole thing with like even other people that he's fought where like he doesn't end up killing them and they're like, but why? Because now you have to like live knowing that you've lost to him, right? And that he like let you just keep living. Ooh, that transition from like dark into lightness, that seems symbolic. Immediately gets headbutted. Oh. What's gonna happen with Nell if they leave though? Like Are they gonna take her with them? They can't just abandon her, right? Yes, please heal some people. This is very sweet. Seda was hurt though. Not to play favorites, but I'm playing favorites a little bit. And Urukia, I would like us to heal Urukia, please. Thank you. That's where we're ending? That's where we're ending before the filler arc? That was a lot sweeter than I thought it would be, actually. All things considered. Because I was like, I don't know how this is gonna end, but we got a win! That's nice. I mean, not for Grimmjow. I did like getting backstory about him, though. I thought that was really cool to get some context about like how it kind of works to like be not just be like a hollow, but like the hierarchy of hollows, and then moving on into like Arrancar and like his motivation taking that in to being like an Arrancar and then an Espada and stuff. Which makes me feel like we're definitely gonna see him again. Because why fill out his character like that without using that for like further growth? This show's gonna make me like him, isn't it? We're just talking about him, like, maybe if he gets some character growth, I might end up liking him. And then, like, the next episode, they're like, you wanted character growth? I know there's probably no point to me waiting for a preview because it's probably going to be for the filler arc, but it's just habit, I guess. I like the self awareness. I love how aware it is that they're just like, we're like, we're doing a completely different thing. And it's gonna be weird because we're just gonna drop the storyline for a little bit. The self awareness. So that was a much sweeter ending to this part of the arc than I was expecting, and we did end on a win. Thank goodness, because they need it. They've been just on a downhill slope for a while now, so getting to see them actually get a win, or Ichigo get a win at the end there, was very nice. Heartwarming moment between him and Orihime and Nell, and them kind of coming together and, you know, I mean, artificial blue sky, but blue skies, good things sort of happening, even though we're still in Las Noches. We haven't gotten out quite yet. And I'm assuming that Ichigo and Orihime are going to go and find their friends and heal them. My goodness, heal them. And make sure that they're alright. And I did really like the backstory that we got with Grimmjow. I've talked about it a little bit at the end of the episode, but just to go in like a little bit more detail about that, of how it really put into perspective the kind of hierarchy that is part of what it means to be a hollow. So we saw like at the beginning of just like hollows in general, and then how they become Gillian, and then up and up and up until they become Espada in the case of Grimmjow. And like I said during the reaction, of how it's literally an eat or be eaten world. Like, it is very, very competitive in the world of hollows. So to see some of that and kind of get more of a feel of how hollows work, especially like outside of what Aizen is doing, because I feel like that's a very new thing, and he's kind of playing around with like how hollows work and the hierarchy and like systems of like how the the hollow world works. So getting to see that, I mean, Grimmjow just like having the cool tiger design. I don't want to like him. I don't want to like him, but I kind of do. And I feel like since we got that backstory and we're kind of, he's lost. He's kind of lost his spot as like the king in a way because he lost to Ichigo and kind of is going to have to deal with the ramifications of that, just like from a self-confidence point of view, but also like the fact that they were talking about how the greatest fear of all of those hollows as they progress is the idea that they'll have to like take a step back or that they'll stop progressing and getting stronger. So he's gonna have to accept that like he's met some kind of wall and that like he isn't the strongest, and he's gonna have to deal with putting that to his philosophy, changing his philosophy. So I feel like we are going to get some growth with Grimmjow. I feel like he has to come back in some capacity and that we'll get to see some of that growth just because they set up with all this backstory of him that it feels weird to not come back to his character, especially since we're not done with the Arrancar arc. So that'll be interesting. I don't know if he's still going to be in Espada. I don't know if he's going to get replaced because, like, is he strong enough? If they're going to bring someone else in and kind of replace Grimmjow again. He's been replaced before, so I don't really know what's going to happen with him. But gosh darn it, if they give a bunch of character growth and I end up liking him, I'm going to be a little bit upset about it. Because I don't want to. I'm stubbornly saying I don't. But there's a part of me that does. Didn't quite get to see the power-up that I was expecting with Ichigo. It was more just him kind of through like pure willpower making it happen, of him just being like, I have all of these reasons, like all of these people that I'm fighting for that I cannot lose, and him just like kind of pulling, you know, all that he had into that. I feel like he's got to be exhausted though. Like he was literally dead for like a while and then just put all that energy into that fight. He's got to be exhausted now, right? Like he's not only is he beat up because he got like injured a few times by Grimmjow, but just putting that much into it. We're going to be starting off the next arc a little bit rough. Unless like Orihime heals him, I guess. She could just like turn back time on him so that he was back to what he was before, but like still, it's a lot to put on our boy. I don't really know what to expect going into the next part of the arc because we are skipping. I do like the awareness that they're like, this is going to be weird because we're just dropping the story for a while. But then we're going to come back to it. I'm not sure. I feel like we're just going to pick up where we left off. Like, I feel like it's going to be like last time after the Soul Society arc. Like, I feel like we're just going to pick up after what happened where like we have like Ichigo and Orihime and Nell all together, and it's just gonna like continue on. I hope that we get to see some more of Soul Society getting involved with it and like other characters getting involved with what is going on, because I really care about Ichigo and his friends and all of them, and I feel like they really have come a long way. They're not strong enough. Like, I just, in my head, I'm like, they're not. They keep losing. Ichigo won, but like, against number 6 of the Espada, he really, really lost against Ulquiorra, and he's gonna have to come back because he just got temporarily inconvenienced by like being teleported somewhere else, so he's gonna come back. He's only number 4. There are like a bunch of other Espada that Ichigo hasn't even come face to face with. They're not strong enough. So I'm hoping that we're going to get some kind of backup from some of their friends, whether that's from Soul Society or that's like Urahara and gang. I don't know, but I'm hoping for it. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching that along with me. If you did, you can click this playlist to go back to the beginning of this little arc thing. Watch it if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!